Dieting to lose fat. This is one of those concepts that the average person does not seem to be able to grasp. They seem to have a mental block as soon as you start explaining it to them. And I think part of the problem is they've been bombarded with misinformation on television. Now, the mistake that most people make when dieting to lose fat is that they go on a crash diet, okay? They lose too much weight too fast. And the problem with this type of dieting is that the first 10 pounds they lose is most likely glycogen. And glycogen is the stored carbs inside the muscle cells that fuel the muscle. And when you lose that glycogen, you also lose water. Okay? So for every pound that they lose, they also lose a pound of muscle. Okay? Now, since muscle burns fat, this slows down the metabolism and it diminishes your ability to lose fat. In order to avoid this crash diet syndrome, I call it, you want to gear your diet towards losing 1 pound of fat per 100 pounds of body weight per week. Now, such a diet is going to be high in complex carbohydrates and high in protein. That would be the multi-carbohydrate leverage loading diet, which I've talked about so much on this YouTube channel. Consists of eating 2 complex carbohydrates, 2 starchy carbohydrates, and a lean protein 5 to 6 times per day. Always keep in mind when you're dieting that you've got to hold on to that muscle, because muscle is what burns fat, period. Okay? Now, how much fat can you lose without losing muscle? Okay, here's how to find out. Now, you buy a pair of fat calipers. Okay, they're very inexpensive and they're very accurate. Now, you go to the internet, you type in fat calipers, and you just order those. I don't think you're going to be able to buy them at a retail outlet. I don't know if GNC carries them. I just don't know. But anyway, once you have your body fat percentage, having used these fat calipers to measure it, you subtract that from 100 to get your lean mass percentage, okay? And if you want to, you can divide that by 100, and that'll give you your lean mass percentage in a decimal form, okay? Now, so if you weigh 200 pounds and your lean mass is 80%, okay, 20% of 100 is 20 pounds, so times 2, it's 40 pounds of fat that you might want to lose, okay? But you've got to keep something else in mind, okay? You can't live on 0% body fat. So, say you're going to lose 30 pounds of fat. This will keep you around 5% measurable body fat, okay? But you're more likely going to be at 8%, because what people don't think about is that there's fat on the inside, and that's usually around 3%. So we'll say you're going to be around say 8%. Okay, that's your ballpark. Now, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to use your fat calipers. Now, when you get your fat calipers, you're also going to get a booklet with it. They'll tell you how to use your fat calipers, but it's very simple. You want to go 1 inch above the hip bone towards the front. This is called the suprailiac. You want to pull that skin away from the muscle. Take your fat calipers and pinch that skin with the calipers until it clicks. And then you look at the figure, the percentage figure on the fat calipers. Now, it showed about 11% for me. That's about right. I'm usually around 10%. Okay, so using fat calipers is very simple. Now, you've also got to remember that you've got to train and train hard, because you want to build lean muscle tissue. And when I say that, don't get all excited about gaining too much muscle, you ladies, because if you're natural, it's going to come very slow. It's going to come hard, okay? And the best you can hope for without steroids is a fitness model's look. And everybody wants to look like that, right? So you've got to train bodybuilding, not powerlifting. You're going to train bodybuilding. You're going to train sets, 8+ reps, okay? 4+ sets, back to back with no rest in between, okay? Sets to failure, the last rep's all you can do in sufficient volume. Do 3 and 4 different exercises for the same muscle group, okay? And this will build, not only will it build muscle, but this is your cardio because you're moving so fast and so intensely. Okay, cardio itself is a waste of time. It's just a band-aid because, like I've said before, you can only burn 500 calories per hour, and the average person in America eats 3,750 calories a day. It's a waste of time, okay? That's where these commercial gyms fail. So give this a try. It will definitely work, but you've got to put the effort in as far as the diet and the training.